You have art marketing related questions, and I want to answer them. A Thursday morning live stream on all the socials to attempt to answer your art marketing, photography marketing, creative marketing related questions and conundrums. Uh, Yet another live stream. The Art Storefronts office is completely open for business. So I got to pin a comment, have a question, ask it. All right. Getting set up. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Looking forward to getting a bunch of questions from you guys. What are you struggling with? Do you have a question about what we do, art storefronts? Are you struggling with pricing or branding or niche selection or a gallery question or whatever? Branding, art marketing, Instagram. You got questions. I've got average answers. But we've been doing a bunch of these live streams lately, trying to give you guys a window into how we do things at Art Storefronts, how we like to market. Leather Creatives coming right out. Would please visit my shop. It's a shameless plug. Good for you. Not a bad way to do it. Don't think it'll be super successful doing it that way, but that's all right. I appreciate the shout outs. Leather Creative Art One. It's an amazing thing that Instagram has allowed live streaming via camera's crooked. Has allowed live streaming via software, and so it's a really fun way to be able to just come online, say office hours is open. To the extent that you guys have questions, I want to answer them. We can get into some Instagram marketing related tactics. What up, Jamie's? We can get into Facebook marketing related questions. We can talk about pricing or branding or niche selection. Do you even need to have the niche? What are the most important metrics? But fun way for you guys to be able to ask whatever question you might have, and I am going to answer them. So all you have to do, leave a comment on Instagram, leave a comment on Facebook, leave a comment on Twitter, leave a comment on YouTube, and I will answer any and all of them. That is sort of the ball game here. And I'm just going to get my banner up so that you guys know we are answering them. And yeah, who's going to leave me in the first one? Oh, good. Great question. Okay, so I can show you this. I think I'd be able to show you this. So, okay, this is a question, and it's a good one. I like this question a lot. So how do you save a live to post to reel and not lose half the reel? You mean when you do a live broadcast, you're saying, how do I make sure that it doesn't get deleted? So very, very good question. And this is something new that Instagram has done just recently. When you do the live, is and let me get the banner out of the way so I can show you. So after you do a live, what happens is it ends up getting stuck in something called your archive. Well, I should say, Deborah, so as soon as the live is done, okay, you go to archive and it'll be in archive, and you can see the last one that I did is right here, right? And says videos processing. That's actually the one I'm doing right now, believe it or not. So here's the last one that I did. And you can see down at the bottom, it says share, download, or delete. So you can download it and have it on your phone, which is pretty cool if you want to keep it native like that. But what you do is you go share, and then you can write a caption. You can give it a cover. You could have a cover that you designed ahead of time and had on your phone and give it a cover that way. And then you can write a caption. And then, is there advanced settings on this one? I can't remember. No, there's not advanced settings that you care about. So that is how you save a live that you've done on Instagram after the fact. Very, very important to contemplate and do it that way. So that's how you do it. And the good news is I think they're saved in there for some period of days, 30 days or something, and you just don't want to delete it. But this is just another one of those instances where, like, the sheer pace at which like Instagram updates their features is absolutely staggering. So yeah, that's what I would say. Art by Elias. You can just by the fact that you said pricing in the comment means the guide on pricing. I'll send it to your direct inbox, and you'll have it in just a second. Oh, this is a great question. So D, if you're just getting going and you have the spring special going, I would wait, let the spring sale run, and then after the fact, do the new website giveaway. That's the best way to do it. If you've got a sale in the water already, just let the sale run, wait a couple of days, and then boom, just go ahead and do the new website giveaway. Sometimes it's nice to do the new website giveaway ahead of time, and then the minute it ends, go right into a sale. But that's okay. You're good. That's all you need to do. And I'm Penny J said, had a small win in the past 2 days. Finally, 2 sales of merch from my site using the spring sales playbook. That's awesome. Those are 2 new customers that you've acquired. And that's just a great way to go. And yep, D, awesome. Good luck. Good luck with the spring sale. Everybody's having a spring sale right now. And like, did I show this yesterday? I think I showed it yesterday. Like, do you know who else is having a spring sale? You guys right now? Surprise, surprise. Amazon, one of the biggest retailers in the entire world, is having a spring sale. What do they know? Same thing that we know, that spring is a great time for sale. People are looking for sales, which is why it's important to have one in the water. Everything that we attempt to do, you know, in the digital world, if you like, is really just a mirror of what works in the real retail world, right? And in this instance, running sales obviously is great. Yeah, Lauren loves to paint. Like, she's asking, how do you reach, you know, others other than other than artists on Facebook and Instagram? Yeah, the long story short is very carefully, right? Very carefully. And you know what I can do is I can post the comment this way. Actually, this is kind of cool. So the long and the short is, Lauren loves to paint. You create content, a little bit that is your content, a little bit that gazpacho, a little bit that is art related content, and you don't worry about the artists and photographers that follow you. That's just going to happen. That's just sort of a cost of doing business. But if you keep creating great content, Instagram and Facebook will show it to people organically that actually are interested in your art. It's just one of those things that happens. It's like really frustrating, you know, especially early on. It's like, you know, all artists and photographers just follow other artists and photographers. Why do you guys do that? Follow people from other segments of life. It is a far more effective way to do things and to contemplate things. So that's how I usually answer that question. If you guys are just joining, it is office hours are open. I'm answering any and all questions you guys might have. What are you struggling with? What do you need help with? What do you wish you had sorted, aside from a significant amount of new sales going on today? But we like opening up these live broadcasts for you guys so that you can get any and all questions you have answered. Yep. And Lauren loves to paint. You're welcome. All right. This is a good one. I love this question, Dave, and I'm going to get it. Sorry, I'm copying these things so that everyone else on the other broadcast can see it. So I'm going to put it in like this and we can all see it, and then I can read it and address it. So, okay, I started creating reels for Facebook, and when people like the reel, I'm able to ask them to like my page. That increased my following to about 1,400 people in the last few months. I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, it's the hard thing about hard things, right? Like, Dave, that's not something that's really scalable, right? Like, it takes a ton of work to do that, but you see how effective it is. Like, one simple ask. And, you know, another really important concept to contemplate sort of along these lines is this notion of always be moving the attention around. Okay. This is like a crazy complicated concept. And I have, by the way, I have a podcast episode on this. In fact, Dave, I want you to listen to it. It's required listening. If you're not subscribed to the podcast, you guys need to be. It is called Creatively, the Art Marketing Podcast, and it is on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And what you need to do is just subscribe to this. And there's a podcast episode on here called Moving the Attention Around. And succinctly, what it is that as marketers, we don't ever want our eggs in one basket. Okay. We don't want all of our followers just on Instagram. We want all of our followers on Instagram and Facebook. And we don't just want all of our followers on Facebook. We want all of our followers on Facebook and on our email list. And so I created this notion of moving the attention around. Okay. And why do I show you the podcast? Why do I ask all of you guys to subscribe to the podcast? Because I want to move you off Instagram onto podcast subscribers. I want to move you off podcast and onto Instagram subscribers. So it's a great way to Dave, when you're doing the hand-to-hand combat, like, say, you should also follow me on Instagram because I'm awesome there, right? Like, give them a reason why you're doing great things there. Or you should also get on my email list because that's when you'll be notified about sales. And it's one of those things that it's like, it's always onesie twosie. It's always hand to hand. You know, when I say hand to hand, you're physically writing the message, right? You're physically having the conversation, but boy, does it move the needle, you guys. Like, constantly be moving the attention around from one venue to another. Okay. Yep. So Georgian artist, I'm going to see this one. I'm going to do this one next. Okay. Let me get this one up. So she says, I'm subscribed to Meta, but still my posts never getting viral. And what she means is she has like the little check mark she paid for, authentication on Instagram is what you meant. Now trying to reach the right content. Unfortunately, not so far. People even Habitat, English is clearly your second language, but it's all good. Habitat to like the post, hesitant to like the post. That was an autocorrect for sure. That's normal. You don't need your post to go viral. Like going viral is the biggest bunch of nonsense in the history of mankind. Okay. Like, viral post does not equal sales. Like I have tons of customers that have had a viral post. If Rachel's on here, shout out to Rachel. She's really good with a hula hoop, and she had some hula hooping video that got like 3 million downloads. And I'm like, how many sales did you get out of it? She's like, none. So Georgian artists, don't worry necessarily about your post going viral. You don't need to stress about that or sweat that. That's the small stuff. What you should focus on instead is your consistency. Okay. Your consistency on both Facebook and your consistency on Instagram. If you do that, you're going to end up winning. Okay. I've got one question about Copilot, Nick, and then I've got a good one. I've got a good one for you. I've decided I'm just going to start posting these things on Facebook Box, so that everyone can see them, because I think it's a little bit cleaner. So this is Jamie's. I'm not getting any sales. I have Copilot. What can I do? That's how it starts out. Jamie's. What you need to focus on, like Copilot is taking care of the selling. You need to focus on the you content that only you can do, Jamie's, which means if I went to your Instagram profile right now, would I see any content that is nothing to do with your art? Would I or wouldn't I? Right? Because the thing about Copilot is Copilot's going to get your art out there, okay, to anybody and everybody. But what I'm concerned about, Jamie's, is when I go to your profile, and like the rules say you essentially have 1, 2. You have 1, 2 thumb clicks, and then this person is gone. So your art is beautiful, by the way. I mean, that thing is stunning. But where's Jamie's on here, Nick? You see her?
Do not see her.
Jamie's, I don't see you.
No way to connect.
I don't see any images of you. Okay, all the way down here, I got something about breakfast, full English. That is such an English breakfast, by the way. The beans, the toast, the big, thick Canadian bacon.
So good.
It's not Canadian bacon, but I guess the thick English bacon. Jamie's, where are you? Where is Jamie's beautiful smiling face? Where is her beautiful smiling face holding art? This is like a really, really common mistake, Jamie's, and art sales are 50-50, you guys. It's 50% the art, which you have covered because Copilot is running for you. It is 50% who you are, what makes you interesting, what makes you tick. Okay. You a dog person or a cat person? You live in the UK. I got one data point there. Now we can start having a conversation. Do you follow any of the English Premier League teams? I'm a huge soccer fan. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but at least there was a conversation point, right? So, Jamie's, my task for you is that this is the prompt that I love using here, guys, because let's be honest, all artists love hiding behind the canvas or the paper. All photographers like hiding behind the lens. We need to see more Jamie's content. What are you doing? What do you do when you're not creating your art? What makes you interesting? What makes you tick? The minute you start doing that, Jamie's, you're going to get more engagement, which is going to tell Instagram and tell Facebook, hey, show Jamie's post to more people. So that is what I want to get going for you.
Can you show the profile again?
Yeah.
I'm just curious how many followers.
600.
Yeah, 600. So like audience size is another component, and what Patrick's advice right there was, if you have good posts that actually, get out there and get you followers, the ones with you in it are primarily going to be the ones that do that. Then you're going to grow that number. Another question is, have you sold anything before? Have you ever sold any of this art, right? Because usually the problem is like understanding who the audience actually is when you're going to grow the audience, because audience building is a huge thing. It's if you have the marketing getting done, which you do, audience, having more eyeballs, actually seeing this stuff is a really big the biggest thing after that, because it's just a math equation of the number of eyeballs that are going to see your art before somebody is going to buy.
Yep. Exactly right. Here's an interesting one from YouTube. So can you describe the setup process for someone just starting out with your company? Oh, can we? Oh, can we? So we do the demo process, which is like the test drive of, or it's just the behind the scenes look at everything that we do, you know, all of our plans, all of our packaging, all this marketing education, all the teaching that we do. So Jenny requested demo, but the long and the short from there is we build your website for you. Once your website is up, you go right into boot camp and we teach you to start marketing. And that's how it goes.
Yeah. So like you have you sign up, you're paired with a human, you know, who's going to work with you to get your website up for you, you know, and you get into our whole ecosystem to help you learn more about marketing. And I don't like to call it a boot camp. You know, I think that's a hard word, right? But it just depends on what type of effort and time that you want to put into it, and go at your pace, right? Like your results are going to just be, you know, determined by your pace. But we have webinars going all week where you can talk to us and where we're giving advice and all of that. You know, we have people who start with us who have never sold any art before. Like it's probably like 30 or 40% of our customers never actually sold anything before. And then the other 60% are people that have other websites on other platforms that are like, I'm moving everything over to you.
Yep. Awesome. Love this question too. You know, how should I create reels following a written theme, i.e. creating a painting, and how long of the reel? Early on, you have all these questions, right? Like, you know, should I do this reel? Should I do that reel? Should I, maybe this would be a good idea. Maybe I should try that. And you always wonder. Number one, I want to answer broadly. Number two, I want to supercharge your guys' creative sandbox. Okay. And I'm going to show you how to do this on Instagram. But number one, early on, the only thing, everything should bias towards action. Everything should bias towards action. This is sort of a startup mentality, business mentality, thought process. But if you've got the question in your head, just say, let me find out. Go create it and find out. Early on, when you're creating reels, like the length is irrelevant. All of it is irrelevant because you have to get your feet wet. You have to get in there and you understand. It's like, you know, I wonder if I fried my eggs this way. I wonder if I used a different type of an oil. I wonder if I would mix my different types of oil. Should I salt my eggs before I spin them up and put them in the pan? Like, you'll never know unless you start shipping. So just contemplate, if it's figuring out how to make an egg 50 times. And I find that you like learn the quickest way that way. But most people are loosely aware of this or not aware of this feature on Instagram. What I like to do is I like to fill up my creative sandbox. Okay. And if it's reels, you guys, these viral hoods. Oh, it's funny. Go right into Instagram Reels and start going down the rabbit hole. Okay. And this is me going down the rabbit hole, and I'm just going to be flicking with my fingers. Okay. By the way, how is this modern art? I see these things on here all the time. Stop doing that. You're making a mess on the floor. Anyway, you start scrolling through. Okay. And if you see one that you like, I want you to click the three little dots. Okay. And I want you to click save. And what save allows you to do is bookmark that reel. And I find this so incredibly effective. Like when you're on the couch, when you're just, you know, vegging out or whatever, and you're doing your thing, like start saving reels that you like. And they can be reels from anyone about any subject for any matter. You're just looking to fill up your creative reservoir, okay, of some of the best and most powerful content out there. And so I'll go through on Instagram, Nick, and I'll spend like 30 or 45 minutes, and I'm not kidding. And I will just save all of the ones I like, save all the ones I like. Okay, these are good, these are good, these are good, these are good. And that will keep you, you know, keep your creative mind going at all times. The number about what you should be doing, and like, you know, how are some other creatives doing it that can give me ideas on how I can do it a little bit better on my end, right? So that's what I would say.
Would be good to, you know, for people who are asking about how to produce better content, to just look at a couple of pieces of their content and just give direct advice on it, you know, because like there's just little things that you and I know for after 25 years of doing this, like the first 3 seconds really matters. Like there, you saw that guy, he's like, you know, at the beginning of it. And he's like, it's because he's trying to get your attention to stop the scroll, you know? Smart. And so if you're kind of monkeying around and it takes like 30 seconds to actually like get somebody's interest, you're probably done because people are just like swipe, you know, they're just swiping past you. And so these are things that you have to learn.
Yep. Will, should you start selling originals right away? Yes, 100%. You start selling early on, everything is for sale, right? Prints, merch, commissions, originals, limited editions, all of it, right? Like, you know, early on when you're just getting started, you're just searching for that feedback. You're searching for the sale. And so, yes, you know, if you've got an original for sale, let's sell it. Let's take it, right? That's what I would say. Okay, next question. I know you guys, I promise, and I've been saying this for quite some time, but I promise I will do an entire session where I just look at one Instagram account after another Instagram account after another. It's just not going to be today because, yeah, I got some things going on. Okay. Olivia, it's hard for me. I might as well pin this one up here because you guys all need to hear this. It's very, very important. Very, very important. This is such a song and a dance to get the comments up. Okay, so she's asking, Olivia's asking, it's hard for me at times to determine what to price my art at. Do you have any advice on that? Oh boy, do I. You know, I wrote one of the most comprehensive guides to pricing that exists in the art world as far as I'm concerned. Okay. And all you have to do on this, Olivia, is just release or type a comment with the words pricing. And, you know, when you get that back, or what I'll do is I'll send anyone that's watching that's struggling with pricing. If you're on Facebook or if you're on Instagram, just leave a comment with the words pricing. And what that will do is I'll send it directly to your direct message box or your messenger box, depending on what platform you're on, and it walks you through it. But very succinctly, everyone has to have prices from 0 to 100, 100 to 1,000, 1,000 plus, and then you need to have non-wall art as a part of the lineup. When you get that all going, you won't struggle with pricing anymore. But my guide will be in your DM box the minute you leave that comment. Rare Radical, how do you find the trends that are sales? You know, it's less about trends, okay, and it's more about audience. What you want to ask yourself is like, how do I find the audience, right? That I can potentially create art for. And you know, one of the folks that does this so well. And you know, Nick, you probably didn't see this yesterday. I mean, talk about an abundance of riches, or stated another way, like real tough problems. But we have this customer, Meg, right? And she is sort of she's known as like the Midwestern, the Kansas City gal, right? And she creates a ton of sports related art around various different topics that are representative of the Midwest. Well, you know, first world problems for her are the fact that Kansas City keeps winning the doggone what is it, the Super Bowl, right? And so she's got this really interesting jam where so the LVIII launch. Oh, I'm trying to see if I can show it in a. So what she does is she has somebody that goes onto the floor of the actual stadium where they play, and they get her a bunch of like confetti and everything else. And so she ends up painting, the Super Bowl number of, so LVII, which was the Super Bowl. I can't do the Roman numerals because I don't know what the L is, but she's doing such a great job at this. And it's like, in her case, she knows there is a tremendous amount of demand because, you know, the Kansas City Chiefs just won and everyone wants to memorialize this, right? And so, you know, she did such a great job. News. Number one, the original LVIII has been sold. I'm getting ready to deliver it today. It's really exciting when this happens in the first week that something launches. So I'm thrilled, excited as always. And I feel like I've forgotten to share this the past 3 times. How lucky am I to do this 3 times in a row? But the owner of the original for this piece, as well as a lot of my other ones, always gets like some extra goodies, some little, you know, keys to hidden Easter eggs, that sort of thing. And for this piece in particular, when I am sorting through the pile of confetti, there's always some like little bits of turf from the field that are in there. So I pick them all out. And then the person who owns the original gets to have this relic from the game.
Oh, good.
It's pretty cool because that field, you know, gets grown for that game. The team goes out like a month in advance and grows it. And then, so this is like a real lasting relic of that. They're also going to get a full silver streamer. I didn't have that many of these, as you know, and I cut them all up. So this is one of the full 5-foot ones. And then they'll also get I had to just show that. That's loose and not attached. I had to just show that because that's pretty awesome, right? So she
So
delivers the original. Okay. She shows these extra goodies that the owner of the original gets, which is literally that jar with a piece of the field, and then that jar with an actual streamer that they shot out, the minute that they won the thing. And then now she's just going to drive demand for the prints like crazy because the main one sold, right? Which is just awesome. And Manuela, I love this attitude. Okay. Hanging with Copilot. Sorry, Graham, please go ahead. Good job, pal. Thanks. My kid can ride a bike, by the way, in other news. In still have a lot of confidence in ASF. Good things will come. Absolutely the attitude that we want you to have, right? Like the number one thing, you guys, that differentiates the successful artist from the non is just consistency through adversity. That's it.
Yeah, because you have to take, any entrepreneur building a business has to take like 10 punches to the gut for every one win. Mm-hmm. That's the ratio. That's like, it's like the rough ratio. It's like, am I really going to do this? Oh man, nothing's selling, nothing's this. It's like, you got to be able to get through that without quitting, and then get that one positive thing that happens. And the positive thing might be a sale. It might be, you make a post and you get 20 new followers from it. It's just some sort of a win. It's some sort of a small win that gets you that dopamine in your brain to just keep taking the next steps.
Yep. Anita, I'm very surprised. I'm putting your comment up on the screen. I'm very surprised. I mean, you've been a customer for like 2 weeks and you're already into the niche course. Great
That's
way
so
to roll.
Awesome.
Yeah, great way to roll right there. I would go as far to say that the majority of our most successful customers innately just understand to constantly be trying new different subject matter materials. They just have that in their DNA. They don't stay focused forever on one type of art, one niche. They're constantly creating these different kinds of styles and these different kind of looks. And oh, by the way, who else has done this? Picasso, all the way to 5,000 other artists. Like, that is how you find the next thing that's going to hit. And I want to create this style, Nick, and this is what inspires, and this is what speaks to me. And I've been doing it, and I've been getting some decent sales. Well, do you have anything to compare it to? The basis of comparison is how we make the most intelligent decisions as an artist or a creative.
You and I have talked about this for years and years and years, right? It's like, and this is so hard for artists, but like, you kind of want to think like a scientist, right? Yeah. Like experimenting. And if you and I had our druthers, and if everything was out of the way, let's say like all of you guys out there, your geographic restrictions, your time, everything, right, was out of the way. Pat, is it not true that we would want to test at least one new subject matter every day with you? So everybody that's dropped a comment like, I'm trying to sell more, I'm not making sales, this is literally what we would do. Like the number one piece of it, it's like, because you can go about it multiple ways. You can take what most artists do is they have a niche, and you just try and you create a bunch of material around it. We saw it on that Instagram we were looking at earlier. And then you just try to force it on everyone. And you got a ton of material, I'm just adding up the hours of time, of essentially the exact same subject matter that people out there may or may not be completely attracted to,
Yeah.
And so, you can go try to find an audience. You can go try to find an audience for that material. Okay. Or for that subject matter, which is one way to go about it. Or you could just fire more arrows. You just fire more arrows and experiment as much as possible, and then just see if something hits. Now, if you have no followers or nothing like that, like you have to do some audience building, and you do audience building around the content. You know what I mean? So, and getting back to, you were talking about that, like, how do you think about audience building? Right.
Yeah. It was trends. Rare Radical.
Yeah, and so what most artists do is they create the supply of the art, right? They create the supply, and then there's no demand, right?
Yeah.
And then they go try to find the demand. What you want to do is actually flip that. If you're thinking about this from a business standpoint and making money and supporting your life, supporting side income or whatever it is that you want to do, right? You want to flip that. Find the demand, create the supply, right?
Yeah.
And the way that I've always said to do that is a good niche, a good subject matter is a niche that already exists. You're not inventing it. In
Nope.
other words, Meg did not invent the Kansas City Chiefs.
Nope.
She did not invent that fan base. It exists. The Beatles, the band, right? Any band that's out there, any musician that's out there, you are not creating that fan base, you know? Your city, the iconic locations of your city, the beaches, this, that, whatever they are, right? You didn't create that. These are audiences that already exist. People are hanging art, wearing t-shirts, buying mug, whatever it is, of things in your city, you know, locations in your city, right? So find an audience that already exists and then go create the supply, go create art for that. These are just ways of thinking about it for particularly all of you that are out there that are struggling to make any sales, okay? Because you have art that is, you know, probably just doesn't have a market or has a really low market, and you're going to need tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of audience, you know, to get that one person to actually convert.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And you guys, there's niches within niches within niches. And you know, Rare Radical, the shout out that Nita was giving to the niche course is like, it 100% you guys takes rewiring one's brain.
Yeah,
it just does, because just by nature we're trained, we grow up, we live our lives having creative minds and then creating the thing and see what happens. That's the loop. I create the thing, I show it to people, I see what happens. We almost never start from a place that says, look at this group, I'm going to create something for them. Okay. And the niches work in everything imaginable. I always get like, well, Patrick, I create abstract art. How could I possibly have a niche around abstract art? Create abstract art around love. Create abstract art around Doberman pinchers. Create abstract art around a particular location in a city. Create abstract art around a momentous event, right? Like there's so many different ways to do it. But the whole point is, this here looks like a diehard tribe of people that are really interested in the subject matter material. I know where they hang out. They're on Instagram. They're in Reddit. They're in a Facebook group. I wonder if I created art for them, right? Like my sons and I love riding around on a cargo bike. Okay, I put both of my kids on it. I ride them around to the beach. They love it. They're starting to learn to ride their own bikes now. But anyway, do you know how diehard this cargo bike community is? There's like a whole lot of people that are like, I want to ditch a second car because I'm environmentally conscious. I want to get fit. It's so much better for my kids to be outside. Diehard community. If someone went in and created cargo bike art right now and some cargo bike photography, it would kill it. It would absolutely kill it. And the whole thought exercise is just find the niche first, work backwards, right? Super counterintuitive, but really, really important, right? So we need to be able to let people understand the difference between buying a canvas from large wholesalers and many times not even signed by the artist. No, you don't, Manuela. No, you don't. Those are things that are completely outside of your control, and it doesn't matter. It's not how art sells. Art doesn't sell just based on the image. Art sells on the strength of the image and who is the artist. What is the brand? What is the uniqueness of that artist behind it? And I don't think you're competing with those people in the slightest. I don't think you need that as a sales point in the slightest, right?
Yeah, I think it's like a good thought, you know, that, and there's a lot of thoughts like this, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, that artists have every day, you know, within the Art Storefronts community and outside and all that. And it's like, you know, the benefit that we have with 14,000, you know, members at Art Storefronts is like, we just know it doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter. It's like, if we look at all the people that are selling, like the top 20% of the sellers or the top 40%, like it's not that information does not comport to it. Right. And we're like, so therefore we're saying, nope, not necessary. Total distraction. Do more marketing. Right. Total distraction. It's the same, Pat. It's the same thing when we have people asking like, oh, hey, like I need to have that Android case, you know, phone case, you know, and even though there's like 17 phone cases, it's like, yeah, like, you know, we're going to add that, but like, that's not what's stopping you from getting $100,000 or $500,000 in sales. It's literally meaningless. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And if you're focused on that, you're really not focused on the right thing, you know?
No, you're not. Can I expand upon a little?
Because you can always find a detail, Pat. Sorry to jump in, but you can find, there are so many details. There's hundreds of thousands of details of an art business, you know? Like it just, they go on forever. you know, and every single person like latches onto one thing. But you know what it never is? It's never the thing that matters. It's never audience size and marketing, you know. It's usually like a minute detail of a fulfillment item that frankly doesn't matter, you know, because you're not selling more than $50,000 a year, you know.
That's exactly right.
And the people that are selling 100,000 plus, they're the first ones to say, like, that is not your problem, you know. Trust me. Like, if you think of like, you never get a fulfillment item request from the people that are selling that much. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly right. I was trying to show a screen time report, but I actually do want to show this. The phone I have here, you guys, is a demo phone. But what an epiphany I had a couple of days ago is, you know, why sell merch, and specifically why sell phone cases, and why phone cases are one of the most underutilized pieces of art and photography marketing that an artist can do. Okay. Now, if you're not a customer, I'm sure you're going to have to find out on your own how you're going to get them. If you are a customer, we obviously make it really, really easy. But everyone has a phone. Okay. So why would you want your art on phone cases, right? Why would you want your art to appear on phone cases? And I want to make this very, very simple point about how important merchandise is, okay, and how incredible phone cases can be. Number one, okay. Number one, yeah, that's fine. Go. I'll take it from here.
Okay.
Number one, okay. You need to have things in your lineup that represent impulse buys, i.e., I like you as a creative. I'm not in the market for wall art right now. I don't need to talk. I want to buy something that I don't need to talk about with my spouse. I want to buy something that's inexpensive. And all of a sudden they find that you have the phone case, right? And let's just say that this is your piece of artwork on a phone case. I want all of you guys, once this is over, okay, to pull out your phone, okay, swipe down from the bottom, and you can go to the screen time report, okay? And if you go to the screen time report, this is just like how poignant this is, and you go see all activity, and you go to the daily average. I want you to look your usage to have it, how many pickups you have, and it'll say it in here how many pickups you have. Because I don't pick up the phone ever, because this thing is like my little demo phone, it's not going to show in here. And is it daily? Is that how I find it? Screen time daily. Just make sure I'm in the right spot, because I like, if you guys look at this for yourselves, you'll realize, like, oh my goodness, where is the doggone thing? Of course, now I can't find it. I was just looking at pickups. You see the section there that says pickups? I would be very curious for all of you guys to look at your own phone and see just how many pickups you have on a daily basis. Okay, on a daily basis. And then I want you to contemplate, okay, that you could potentially have your art in something that is with me 24 hours a day, okay, that I pick up 65 times a day. 65 times a day, I'm looking at your art. 65 times a day, all day, every day, 7 days a week, no matter if I'm traveling, no matter where I am, happy times, sad times, everything in between. Do you know how powerful that is? Are you going to make a ton of money selling a cell phone case? No, you are not. Okay. This is not an item for profit, although you can make a couple of bucks on them. It is an item to get your art to where our eyeballs are as a human species right now in 2024, more hours a day than at any other point in time ever known to man. Do you understand how profound that is? Like, do you understand how just absolutely insane that is? I would go as far to say that this, if you are lucky enough to be able to sell one of these with your art, is probably the single solitary most valuable Instagram or Facebook ad you could ever hope to run in your entire life. I'm not kidding. Like, we all of us are like, how do I get more eyeballs? Like, how do I get these people interested in my art? You sell one cell phone case and your art is now going to be viewed thousands of times a month. Contemplate that. Like, sometimes I go over 110 pickups a day on my phone, right? Like, and to think that you offer these little things, and now your art follows me around all that much. Like, where do you think I'm going to go to purchase art of photography? Okay, when I actually genuinely have the need, right? When I look at your art every single solitary day, when I put my phone down on the table and my friends see it, when someone, my significant other, she wants to use the phone, she looks at it. Like, it is honestly like one of the most unbelievable opportunities at marketing that could possibly exist on the one device that has more of our attention than anything else in the entire world. Like, that is such a profundity, right? It's such a profundity. And Mary Jane, yes, it is, of course, available on Art Storefronts. But like, look, we're not the only gig in town. Okay. My advice is not 100% Art Storefronts related. Like, if you're going to sign up with us, awesome. Yes, you can do it in 2 seconds. But there's other vendors out there where you can get it going. It is just such an incredibly powerful thing to have. And everyone's like, you know, and Johnny's asking, does printing on merchandise decrease the value of your art? No, it absolutely does not. When is the last time, Johnny? This is the mental model that everyone needs to have on merch. When's the last time you went to a museum that didn't have a gift shop? Anyone been to a museum that didn't have a gift shop? I don't think so, right? And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Okay. And it does not decrease the value of the art in the slightest. Okay. In the slightest. So, you know, if I could wish one thing for all of you, it would be that you guys sold 50 cell phone cases. Because if you sold 50 cell phone cases, okay, and 50 cell phone cases were now going around in people's pockets day in, day out, on and on and on, looking at your art, what's going to happen is the second they are ready for art, maybe even sooner, they're going to be like, this is so awesome, okay, that I'm looking at every day. I need to have it on my wall. And that's it. That's the ball game, right? Like, what no one understands about merchandise and why you need to have merchandise is it's just an ad. It's just an ad. It's a way to acquire a new customer first. Okay. New customer, new email address. But secondarily, it's just an ad that's going to follow around your prospective buyers. You know, whether it's the cell phone case, which is the single solitary greatest one of them all, in my opinion, because just how many times it'll be seen, or a coffee mug, or a photo book, or coasters, or a tote bag, or pillows, whatever it is. They're just ads for your art. They're just little billboards that you charge your customers for that are going to take your art into places that nothing could ever get to digitally. I can't get a Facebook and Instagram ad in your morning coffee every morning unless you're on Facebook or Instagram, right? So it's just such a profundity. It is just such a profundity. So I really think more and more and more of you should contemplate adding them to your lineup. And like, look, the dirty little secret is the iPhone users are the ones that have all the money. Android is way secondary. So you don't even need all phones covered. You get 3 or 4 models of iPhone, and you're cooking with gas. Like, that covers the people that have the highest level of disposable income that exists. If they buy, stated another way, if somebody buys an Apple iPhone case from you with your art on it, you know they have money. Hate to be cutting it down to brass tacks there, but you know, we do want to go fishing for the people that are ready to invest. So I honestly believe that this is the single solitary most important piece of merch that exists, just based on how much attention you can get. And you don't hear anyone else talking about that, but everyone is on their phone all day long, day in, day out. They could be looking at your art all day long, day in, day out. Absolutely staggering. For those that are just joining, answering any and all comments and questions. So if you've got one, you can ask. Is it true that you're based in Texas? So pre-COVID, we had an office in Austin, Texas. So that part is correct. After COVID hit and everyone wanted to work from home, we got rid of the office. The majority of Art Storefronts employees, or I should say not the majority, the highest concentration of Art Storefronts employees live in Austin, Texas, but not all of us. I'm in Southern California. I've got members on my marketing team that are in Mexico, that are in Chicago, that are in Serbia, that are in the Philippines. So literally all over the place. So we are now, Jenny, a company of the world, like so many today with this whole work from home craziness. But that's where we're at. We're literally spread all over the place. But man, this is just such a profound point about the cell phone cases. My goodness, I was looking at your art every single solitary day. Literally every artist and photographer should be doing them. And the cases are fine, right? Like, do you know how many people, like, you know, I know case culture is like a huge thing, but like, one is as good as the next. If your art is on it in whatever capacity, this is just a glorious thing. So food for thought there, something to chew on. A very important concept of why merch is a big deal, right? How do you account for the different? Yeah, Patrick, it's called cropping your image, right? Like, you got to crop your image. There's just no 2 ways around it. And our software makes it really easy to do. I can't speak to the other merchants, vendors out there, but it's super easy. You got to just crop it so it gets on there, right? I mean, this is not a very particularly great job, but it is still a good job. And, you know, you could make an argument that, you know, do you know what I would honestly do if I were you guys? And this is just like stream of thought, creative consciousness. I would start creating some digital files of your artwork that look like this. So, you know, if you're someone that paints or does it by hand, you're gonna have to get into Photoshop and crop it. If you're a photographer, you're gonna have to get into Photoshop and crop it. And then you can start, what you can start doing is bundling. So every time that you sell one of these, you can also give them 10 digital files that you say are backgrounds, okay? That are backgrounds for your camera, right? And like, and you could do the digital send plus the cell phone case for every single solitary order. But the long and the short is you need to crop it, right? What's interesting is on our websites, we actually allow people to, excuse me, we allow people to crop it to their, you can let your customer crop it the way that they see fit, which is kind of interesting. Some people do that, and then some artists are like, no way, you know, this is how I want to see it. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, Brian, there's no one size fits all. Some customers like doing it on their own. Others really enjoy saying like, hey, you know, this is what I envision as the artist. This is what you're going to get. Boom, do this, right? But man, is that powerful, you know? Like the combination of the digital delivery plus the tangible actual case, like, wow. You know, if I could potentially have my art on the back of their phone and my art on the home screen all the time, there is no more valuable real estate that exists in the minds of all of us, right? Like, how many times a day are we looking at our phones? It's absolutely staggering. So huge argument for why you need to be selling merch and why cell phone cases are the most important. What else? Any other questions, comments, concerns, guys, before we wrap for the day? Happy to answer any and all that you might have about anything, because that's what this is. It's open office hours. That's what it's for. You know, you guys all have marketing and business related questions. You need them answered. And where do you go to answer them? You search Google. Do you watch YouTube videos? Do you read blog posts? Sure, you can do all of that, but that's painstaking. It takes a ton of time. Or you can follow us on any one of the socials, and anytime you see my ugly face and or Nick's, you can just drop questions in here, and we're more than happy to answer them. So that is the ball game. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate your attention. Hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day. And anytime that we're live, guys, come ask questions. That's what we're here to do. Bye now.